بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين. I will divide my talk in two parts, and the first one will be general rules related to the Ramadan or the month of Ramadan, and then with the tips, so very briefly. And then the second part, I will give you time to ask questions and answers, inshallah. First of all, I will share with you the best approach to the month of Ramadan, which is very easy. So I want you to memorize 5 ahkam, so 5 rules. If you memorize these 5 rules, the practice of the month of Ramadan will be very easy. So remember, memorize this, and anybody who can repeat after I'm done, please raise your hand and repeat those 5 rules, okay? For those 5 rules. So number 1 is Wajib, which teaches what is must. Number 2 is Sunnah, which teaches what is recommended. And number 3 is Mubah, which teaches what is permitted. And number 4 is Makruh, which teaches whatever is disliked or not recommended. And the 5th and the last one is Haram, the prohibition, which teaches what is prohibited. If you memorize these 5, and then you will understand from 1, which means what is Wajib in Ramadan to do. 2, what is Sunnah to do. 3, what's Mubah. 4, what is disliked, not recommended. And the last one, what's Haram. Okay? Anybody can repeat these 5? Then I will go to my topic. Abdul Razak?
Wajib.
Wajib.
That's a little trick.
Okay.
The third one is what is permitted.
Okay. 4th?
4th one is disliked.
Okay.
And the last one is haram.
Okay, very good. And then now, I will make more easier. I will ask you these 5 questions related to those 5 ahkam, right? I will ask you, what's Wajib in the month of Ramadan? So very simple. What's Wajib in the month of Ramadan? Who wants to answer? Okay, Hassan?
A lot of things.
No, I ask only one thing, that is Wajib. That's it. Thank you. To fast the month of Ramadan is Wajib. It's very simple. Some of us, we fast and we continue to fast in Sha'ban. Is it Wajib? No. Sha'ban, yes, right? No. So, to fast the month of Ramadan, is it Wajib? Hassan said it. It is Wajib. That's the first step. It's Wajib to fast the month of Ramadan. The only month that you must fast, unless you have some type of the excuses. And we'll talk that as a last conclusion. What makes you to be excused to fast the month of Ramadan? So now it's must to fast. What's must to do in the month of Ramadan? Number 1, it's must to fast, right? Okay, so let's go to the topic 2. Topic 2 is what's Sunnah in the month of Ramadan. So what's Sunnah in the month of Ramadan? Anybody?
Iftar.
Okay. Okay, that's good point. If let me ask you this question: breaking the fast, is it Sunnah or Wajib or Mubah? Break.
Not iftar, the one they do in the morning. You eat.
But in the month of Ramadan, we said you cannot eat, right?
No, before
No, he's trying to say suhoor. He's trying to say suhoor. That's what he's trying to say. He's trying to get us.
So you want to say suhoor? Okay, so yes, another question. Okay, let's go with that suhoor even. Is suhoor is Wajib? Okay, what's the ruling of the Wajib? What's the definition of Wajib? Required. If I don't do it, what will happen?
You are sinning.
You are sinning, number 1, and I will be punished.
Yeah.
Do you see that? That's the meaning of Wajib. If I leave something Wajib, I'm sinning, I'm committing a sin, and I will be punished. Okay, so if I leave suhoor, so let's apply to this rule to what Abrahman says. If, let's say tomorrow is Ramadan, I did not eat suhoor. Am I committing sin?
No, you're not.
Say it's not. If I'm not committing sin, then it's not Wajib. Do you see that? So what is suhoor? Under Sunnah, yes, it is Sunnah. You see, so now we're defining. So suhoor is example of the Sunnah. It's a Sunnah to make suhoor. If you leave it, you're not punished. It's recommended. It's good to have suhoor. Walau, the Quran like the Sunnah says, walau al-ma, even if you drink. So there's sometimes that I drink only water to make suhoor. So that's enough. Okay, so now we have what's wajib. We know what's an example. We know what's Sunnah. And what's the Sunnah definition-wise? What's Sunnah, brother? Definition.
Sunnah?
Yes.
From the Prophet.
Something the Prophet did, but is that enough? Not yet, right? Because there's something that he did which is wajib, right? Something that he did which is not wajib. Okay, that's the best definition. He did it, but it's not wajib, right? Alayhi salatu wasalam. So, okay, so now what is, we know Sunnah example and we know Sunnah definition. What is the number 3 ruling or principle is principle of permission. What's permitted? So what is permitted? What is mubah in the month of Ramadan? While you're fasting, what is mubah? Any example? Go ahead. Work is mubah. That's true. You can work. Okay, what else? So more examples. Ma'al Usman? Nap, taking nap. How about swimming? Is it okay? Is it mubah? Yes, it's mubah. Some people, they think like Shafi'i madhab, they say like after midday, you cannot swim. After midday, you cannot do siwak. That's what they say, which is not that madhab. I mean, like that opinion is not correct, because there is another hadith that the Prophet says, if like the smell of his mouth changes, he was doing isman. It's about, and then Aisha says whenever he comes the house, he was doing miswak. So whenever, so it means whether it's Ramadan or not Ramadan. So now we know what's mubah. So okay, so mubah in Ramadan, those steps or actions. So then what is disliked during the month of Ramadan? What the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam like did not recommend to do it or to say it. Disliked. Yes.
Cursing.
Cursing?
Yes.
So cursing is, okay, he said like cursing disliked. Is it under disliked or it's under muharramat? Yeah, it's under muharramat. Yes. Yeah, okay. So what is disliked during the fasting in the month of Ramadan? Yes? Breaking your fast? Is breaking your fast, is it disliked? No, it's under haram. Yeah, it's haram. You cannot break your fast unless you have what? Reason, which is legitimate reason according to Sharia. Which is example what? What's the example? Sick, yeah. You were in the middle of the fasting, you became very sick. And then you're allowed. It goes under the permission. You're allowed only if it is like if you can continue. If you cannot continue a severe illness, is it allowed to break the fast? No, it's more than allowed. It's what? It's wajib. Because Islam, nafs is what? Number 1, 2, life of the nafs to protect. Okay, so fadal.
To break your fast late.
To break the fast with is karaha. So for example, now is what? It's almost 8:20, right? And the Maghrib was what? 7:30, right? Or 7:32. So you waited for more than half hour. That's disliked. Yeah, that's one of the good example. What's another example?
Is watching people make food.
So watching people who are cooking. Okay.
People who are tempted to eat food.
People who are making food, if you are watching them.
People do that.
Yeah. Okay, brother, do you agree?
No,
So looking people who are cooking. Yeah?
Sleep more, give you more time to sleep.
Okay, how? So like oversleep? Like sleeping all the time.
Like sleeping duhur
And then you pray and then you go back to sleep. Very good point. I like this. You're right. So Yes, some people, they want to pass the time, right? So until until the iftar time. So by the way, this you will see this in Somalia. Many people like sleeping all day, and he said like, just wake me up the salah time. So and then you wake them, they pray the dhuhr, then they go back to sleep. So it's disliked. Very good example. That is not recommended. You're supposed to do a lot of ibadah. We have like scholars today, I said in my khutbah, that finished the whole Quran twice per day. Did they sleep? No. And I was counting how many hours you need to finish if you are fast reader. So it just takes 15 minutes, fast readers, okay? Like those Imams, Imam Shafi'i. So 4 juz time is 8 hours. So is how much? 4 times 8. 32, right? 32. So within 7 hours and a half, you can finish the whole Quran. So he is one of the Imams that was listed that he made 60 khatm in the month of Ramadan. Do you know 60 khatm? It's twice per day to complete the whole Quran reading. So and then that means he was putting 15 hours. So was he sleeping, my brother? No, he was not sleeping. He divided 7 and a half and 7 and a half. 7 and a half and 7 and a half means like someone who was awake most of the time. Okay, so disliked. You have another example. You said that, right? You raised your hand. Oh, the one, the food. Okay.
Talking too much be dislike?
Talking too much. So yes, because instead of doing a lot of dhikr, studying ilm, doing like Quran recitation, you talk too much. It is disliked. It's good. Like, what is the definition of disliked? What's the definition? Anybody? Go ahead. Definition?
Not liked.
It's not liked, but define more. It's correct, but define more.
You're not punished for it, but you get reward for using it.
Yes, you are not punished. So you talk a lot. You are not punished, but
You get reward if you leave it.
you get reward if you leave it. Very good. That's the decision. If you leave it, you get reward. Okay, one category that is left is al-muharramat. What is haram during the fast of the... I know you have many examples. What is haram, not what is makruh. What is haram, act or action during the month of Ramadan? Abrahman. Eating. So that's it. Yes. Yeah, you see breeze and hilib in front of you. It's a midday and you jump on it and you are fasting. It's haram. You cannot do that. Okay? What else is haram?
Not praying.
Okay, not praying the salah. This is very important. Is it haram not praying the salah?
Yeah.
Like, let's say like you did not pray dhuhr intentionally. I think that's correct. Okay, what does make you... Okay, intentionally you skipped. People are praying dhuhr and someone asked you, why don't you join? Did you pray? You say like, no. Why don't you join? I'm not going to pray. And then you slept. Someone woke you up. I saw you that you said, can you pray because it's Asr is after half hour. No, I'm not going to pray. So that person, what now we have not new dilemma only, but the person becomes, based on what he's doing, he becomes what? Kuffar, yes. Man taraka as-salah amdan faqad kafar. It's hadith. If anybody leaves the salah, wajib salah, not sunnah, intentionally, is a kafir. Imam Ahmad, he stick with hadith, rahimahullah, he said, he is purely kafir. So yes, there are scholars, they say like, we'll ask one more question before we call him kafir. We'll ask, do you believe the wajib of the salah? That's what they say, the Shafi'i and other scholars. We'll ask him one more. Do you believe the salah is wajib? If he says, yes, I believe, then he is fasiq. Not only that, Imam Shafi'i said, they said he's fasiq only, he will be arrested. What? What type of jail? Masjid Da'wah jail in the basement? No, serious jail. He will go to the court. Yes. In Islam, we don't arrest the people. Nowadays, American system practices that you have to go to the court. he will go to the court and judge will ask him two questions only. Number one, do you believe that whether salah is wajib or not? When he says, yes, I believe, then he moves to the next question. If he says, no, I don't believe, and the judge will give him, according to one of the madhab, 3 days. 3 days to think of, because after 3 days, if he did not answer and he kept with the same answer, what will happen to him? Yes, capital punishment. And then scholars, they disagreed, but majority, they say, which is correct, they say like he will be executed, but as had. You see, had. What does it mean, had? Had means like Allah more, because Allah might forgive him. So this is like their notion where they are coming because of the fi'l tarku salah, and others say like no, we'll kill him, will be executed as kafir, and he won't be buried Muslim graveyards, and he will go to hellfire according to that opinion forever because he's kafir. And there's ayah of the Quran that says إن الذين كفروا وماتوا وهم كفار إن الذين كفروا وماتوا وهم كفار أولئك عليهم لعنة الله والملائكة والناس أجمعين. Then what's next? خالدين فيها, they will stay there forever. Do you see? So that's what it's saying. He's kuffar, he's kafir. And the others who are saying had, they say like if still he believes the salah, it's had. Although he did not intentionally pray, but he's still Muslim, so we will execute him, but he will be buried as a Muslim fasiq in the Muslim. So do you see where they are coming from? They have like heavy dalil both of sides, because they are saying he did not say salah is not wajib. He said like it's wajib, but I'm not praying. So we're applying the rule of, but both of them, what they agree is one thing: he has to be removed from the society. That's what they agree. He must be executed. So that's what they believe, both sides. Okay, so now we know what's muharramat in the month of Ramadan. And then I will conclude with this. So that's why I'm giving you tips, as Ma'al Uthman said. What you should do is from now until the beginning of the month of Ramadan, get one of the kitab in Arabic or in English, any language that you master, and look and study those 5 categories. There are lists of wajib acts, what you must do. So including the fasting of the month of Ramadan. You have to know that. And there is a list of what is Sunnah. Tarawih is one of you said Tarawih. Yes, Tarawih is Sunnah. One of the Sunnah. So reading the Quran and finishing the whole Quran is Sunnah. It's not wajib. But it's a great Sunnah. It's highly recommended. I just came from one of the masajid. All Imams came together today, all the masajids, because we were celebrating about the new decree from the city council of the Minneapolis that dictates the adhan is allowed. The adhan is allowed for all the masajids in loudly, all the masajids in Minneapolis, because that's the city council was from Minneapolis, except the Fajr prayer. Okay, Fajr prayer. They said like there is a state rule that says it's a quiet time. So to remove that state rule, it takes time. So what I was telling the people right now, my point was, everybody was saying something new. And as Imam, I said, what's the ruling of the adhan? So I was teaching them. So all the scholars, they said, except one madhab, they said it is sunnah mu'akkada. There are 2 types of sunnah, right? Sometimes scholars, they say 3 types according to the fiqh. They differentiate sometimes even sunnah, mustahab, and nadb. So scholars, the fiqh is like a beautiful subject to study. You enjoy it once you are swimming in the fiqh, right? So it's sunnah mu'akkada. What does it mean, sunnah mu'akkada? Yeah, they use the English language, highly recommended. So it's not recommended only, highly recommended. That's the Jumhur. But Al-Hanabila, which I agree with them, I'm going to tell you right now, do you know what they said? They said it is Wajib Kifai, Fardu Kifaya. That any Al-Amsar or Qarya, any gathering of the location of the Muslim population, they must have adhan. So one masjid, if one masjid has like loud adhan, the rest are okay. So they don't have to have it because that is enough to call all the people. Do you see that? That is fardu kifaya. It's heavy. I agree with that, and I think whom asabu. These scholars, Allah guided them, because there is another hadith that says the city that you cannot hear adhan, you can attack. So that makes the blood of the Muslims. So adhan is blocking attack from outside. If that's the case, then adhan becomes wajib. Do you see that, where they are coming? So, okay, so now, since we studied all this, what are the tips? So the number one tips that you need to learn is, you cannot, in half hour, we cannot discuss about what's wajib in Ramadan, what's sunnah in Ramadan. So what I advise you and advise myself is to review. Now tonight I have a short lecture with my family. We're reviewing the summary of the basics of Ramadan. So you need to study that basics. And I think Ma'al Uthman and Brother Idrees, they covered some basics, right? At least prerequisite only, but basics, right?
The prerequisites of the prerequisites.
Okay. So I will let you ask questions, but let me give you 5 tips that was my khutbah, that if you do it, you will be successful in the month of Ramadan and you can hit A grade. So our goal is not C, you should know that, and it's not B. Okay, we want an A. And everyone wants A. Well, the akhirah, whatever, those who have A, what they will say, qura'u kitabiyya, look my grade. He's very happy. Qura'u kitabiyya, look my grade. That's what they say. Look, salah, A. Fasting, A. Reading the Quran, A. Dhikr, A. MashaAllah, that's what we need. Some people, they have C. And some people, they have what? D. It's not good. It's not good grade. It still will go to Jannah, but it's not good grade. F, may Allah forbid, for sure you go to hellfire because you failed, right? So yes, you go to hellfire. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By the way, Sheikh Siraj was there. Can you imagine? He came today. He came one of the events and he heard about, and all his qudwa was for. Everybody has to talk half minute. So my half minute, I said it is sunnah, muakkada. Some scholars and Hanabila, they said it's wajib kifai. I'm with Hanabila, and then I moved on. And my khutbah, that was 1 minute, I said, yes, Minneapolis is it's legal, but other cities even you can have it, the adhan, because the bell, if the bell is allowed for as a religious sound, any religious sound can be allowed. So then if it becomes the court, you will win the case. But we'll do like as smooth as possible, inshallah. So now I'm going to give you that 5 tips, then ask the questions, and then we are done. Let me make this 5 minutes, inshallah. Number 1, the Shahr Ramadan is the month of Quran. We all agree that, right? Allah says in the Quran, Shahr Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran. And Surah Al-Qadr, inna anzalnahu, what's who? Al-Quran fi laylat al-Qadr. So this is very important, Imam, because of the Quran, right? So let's be friend with the Quran. That's number 1. Can we agree that? So, and then everybody plan to finish minimum what? 1 time. Thank you for the whole Quran. Minimum. If you can finish 2 times, even it's better. I know we cannot be like Imam Shafi'i, the one who did like how many times every week? Yeah, for the whole month, 60 times. But some of us can try. Those who are like Azima, like Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab, you can try. So there was a Sahabi. Anybody knows that? There was a Sahabi that praying the Quran in one rak'ah? Raise your hand. Don't say it, please. Can you imagine praying one rak'ah? Yes, one rak'ah. Hold the Quran, yes. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Alif Lam Mim. Dhalika al-kitabu la rayba fihi hudan lil-muttaqin. He started. And then after hours, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ Allahu Akbar. It happened? Yes. Which Sahabi? Uthman. Yes. And you know the Somali people, my mother, she used to say, Haditha Quran kal akhrisu. That's the Somali. It's not true, by the way. Because he was finished the Quran quickly, and my mother was saying, Haditha Quran kal akhrisu. Means like, hadith is what? The skin hair was reading the Quran with him, so he was finishing what? Yeah, because this hair takes like one surah and the other one surah. It is done. So that was not true, by the way. It was khurafat that they believed, our mothers, and may Allah forgive them. But we corrected, alhamdulillah, before they die. Alhamdulillah, when we became the sahwa, we corrected our parents, many things, and alhamdulillah and thanks for the scholars and shayukhs of the sahwa. So number one, Quran. Finish at least. Those who have difficult to read the Quran, read the interpretation of the Quran, the tafsir of Quran in English. Finish one juz in English, reading the meaning every day. Okay, reading the meaning every day. Is it doable? Yes. 1 hour? Yes, it takes 1 hour. It takes 1 hour, sometimes maybe 1 hour and a half, but give that time because this is the time of the Quran. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس. The guide that you need. Scholars, they say this is the only time that you have in your life that you revise the guide of the human being. Can you imagine? Which is true. The Prophet ﷺ was revisiting the Quran twice every Ramadan, right? With Jibreel alayhi salam, his teacher. So that we're supposed to do the same thing. So Al-Quran. Number two tip was very important. Plan to read dhikr more than you did before the month of Ramadan. So dhikr means what? And this is easy for everyone, but you need to put some schedule. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. If you need the short way, say لا إله لا إله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله. How many times? So one of the hadiths, it says 100 about لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. But of course they say this number shows the more you do. But the same hadith they say nobody is better than the one who did 100 except the one who did more. It's hadith. So that means you can do more dhikr, right? And I know one of the brothers, he called me, I listened to one of your lecture about the dhikr. He said, I made it 10,000. And I said, tell me just privately, what did you see? Wallahi, he said, I'm telling you only, I saw nur in my house. Nur. It said, this is darajah. Wallahi. Because you cannot do 10,000. But he started gradually and slowly. So the more dhikr you do, and then there are many dhikr, right? Choose whatever you want. La ilaha illallah is the best dhikr. The best. Then as-salatu ala nabi. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad. It's a short version and long version. Both of them scholars approved. If you want short, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala. People ask me, can I say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad? No, it's not complete. Because the Quran says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu. Right? So sallimu is there. So you need as-salah and you need was-salam. So you say Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad. So that's the best. And scholars, Shaykh Ibn Bazi say like, it's allowed. You can do it. Then you can do like 1,000 and more than 1,000. So that's number two dhikr. I recommend in terms of the dhikr. Number three dhikr, astaghfirullah. فقلت استغفروا ربكم إنه كان غفارا يرسل السماء عليكم مدرارا ويمددكم بأموال. If you want to get money, if you want to make money without going to work, do astaghfirullah. Wallahi, it's not joke. It's not joke. And I'm not asking you to test Allah. Can we say that? No. But Allah is saying like, if you do a lot of istighfar, I will open the door of the money. Yes, you make money. And it's true. Those who, we're not testing, ya astaghfirullah al-azim. We cannot say those who tested. But those who started to do thousands of astaghfirullah, Allah showed them khairat that made them to continue forever. You will never stop. Okay, so number three is what? Astaghfirullah, about the dhikr. Number four, Number 4, about the dhikr. So we said, La ilaha illallah, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad, astaghfirullah. Number 4, which is very important. We are living the world of fitna and there is a lot of fear, right? Say, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, dua of Ibrahim. Repeat, whatever you're afraid as a human being will be gone. Whether you can see it, whether you cannot see it. Hasbunallah ni'mal. There's a lot of shar. And we're afraid of shar, right? We are the human being. But Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Allah will put in your heart what? Peace. And you feel peace mind, no fear. No fear. From the human being, from anything. From anything. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Do that as much as you can in the month of Ramadan. And the last one. Guess which one is the last one here that I selected. So it's a many good dhikr. I know it's many, many good dhikr. So what's the last one, the short dhikr that you should do it? So, because I'm selecting only 5. We said it.
Is it dua?
No, dua, by the way, you remember like the 5 tips that I'm giving you? One is Quran, one is dhikr, the dua is number 3. But I welcome that the dhikr that you repeat, that's what, that as a word. Alhamdulillah. Yes. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة. That's the dua part. I will be coming. But dhikr, what you repeat as a dhikr? Alhamdulillah. Say Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Say as much as you can. Allah says, La in shakartum la azidannakum. If you need to have more what you have right now, the good thing that Allah gave you, if you need to have like countless good thing that you enjoy, say Alhamdulillah, 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 Alhamdulillah. How many? Don't limit. Just timing. So timing. Do as much as you can. You will see Allah will make barakah whatever you have. La in shakartum la azidannakum. La azidannakum has 3 meanings. Ziyada, increase in terms of the number. Then barakah, and number 3 is tawfiq. Tawfiq. Allah will guide you. So that's which number we have right now? 5, right? So okay. Do you want to repeat? La ilaha illallah. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil and astaghfirullah and alhamdulillah. So okay, those. So now we have number 1 Quran, number 2 tip is dhikr, number 3 ad-du'a. It's shahru du'a. Never stop. Be alone, that's the best time. One of my shaykh, he said, if you want to make du'a, be alone. Yes, khalwa. Avoid the eyes of the people. Be alone in one side and say, oh Allah, you hear me. I know. You said in the Quran, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيب. I'm close to you. You're close to me. Nobody can see me except you. I have these problems. I need you to resolve. Scholars say, if you have khalwa, alone with Allah, with the dua every day, Allah will respond quickly. And Allah loves that khalwa. Okay? 4, that's 4. That's dua is number. We have Quran, dhikr, dua. 3, as-sadaqah. Use yourself to pay sadaqah every day, even if a small amount of sadaqah. But pay. الذين ينفقون أموالهم بالليل والنهار سرا وعلانية. There was one of the Sahabi, he said, I want to be like Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr was paying sadaqah more day time and night time, every day for the whole life. And there is one person who said, like, I want to do, and he ran out the money and everything. You know, he came to his house, he was looking for something. There's some of the fruit left in his house. He took it that to give us a sadaqah because he did not want to miss that day. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replaced before next day more than what he's supposed to pay as a sadaqah. So sadaqah, do sadaqah every day. Sadaqah is very powerful. Sayyidina Umar said, comparing to any other deed except after Tawheed, Sadaqah is the best deed. And he was asked, how about the Salah? He said, like, even the Salah, better than Salah. What do you have as a proof? He gave a proof. Do you know what the proof that he gave? He said, Salah, when you pray, who will get the ajr? You. It is done deal, right? It's limited to you. But when you use Sadaqah, who will benefit? Only you? No. Someone else, whether it's the project of the masjid, someone who is miskeen, someone who's orphan, will benefit and you will benefit. So he said, like, Sadaqah tata'adda wa salah la tata'adda. That's what he said. Sadaqah goes beyond of the person, but salah will stay with you. So number 3 is Sadaqah. And last thing, 4 is Sadaqah. Yes. The last thing, and I conclude with this. Do you want to say for me the last? Okay. Qiyam. Anybody else?
Hell tones.
Wait. You're talking about things we should do there on right?
Yes. Yes. But I agree what he said, yeah? Okay. We said the Quran. By the way, we are done our halaqah, and brother will give you. So, Quran, read the Quran every day. Yeah. Tawbah is part of the dua. When you are making dua, and it's part of the istighfar also. Istighfar is part of the tawbah. So, Quran, 2 dhikr, every day read dhikr. Okay? Then 3, dua, make dua every day of the month of Ramadan, and then sadaqah.
What was number 2?
1, read the Quran every day, read dhikr every day, read dua every day, pay sadaqah, even a small amount, even $1, by the way. $1 you come to.
Pray. If you can't pray all the salat in Jama'ah.
Okay, all the salat in Jama'ah. Okay. Yes,
Helping all the Muslims.
that's sadaqah.
No, I have it.
Okay.
Your itikaf?
Itikaf is part of the masjid, right? So, brother, you said it.
I said it.
Yes, qiyam. Don't miss, qiyam. He said it, yes. Qiyam. So, qiyam. Tarawih is part of the qiyam. You should know that. So, don't miss. I said tarawih, I think, my khutbah, but tarawih and qiyam is the same. It's a matter of the timing. Qiyam is every salah of sunnah that you pray after Isha. That's qiyam. But it has more ajr when you pray a specific time. The more is close to the Fajr, the more it has what? The better, because that's the time that Nuzulullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the time that Allah comes down. So my brother, go ahead, ask the question. It's time to ask questions, then we'll go to not to eat pizza. Go ahead, sir.
I was asking the question before. This is the question that I just that you pointed out about the adhan.
Adhan, yes.
So I thought since maybe we live in a country where there's not a lot of Muslims, you know, when someone making adhan, so maybe you giving up da'wah, and then that's maybe comes required.
Yes, adhan is da'wah. I believe that. By the way, I was talking part of one of the shaykhs. 2 shaykhs said before me, but I agreed with them. I said like adhan is calling people to salah, right? But also calling people to Islam, because there is to worship, because there is a word that says la ilaha illallah, and the whole religions they talk about la ilaha illallah, oneness of Allah, right? And that's part of the adhan. That's why if we are allowed to do the adhan, I think I suggest any masjid or every masjid to print adhan in Arabic and in English and give to the neighbor when we are saying something out loud. This is what we say. Yes, and they understand Allah is the greatest, and make it simple the way they understand, because God and Allah is the same, but like God is the greatest. Many of them will agree. By the way, it will affect them. Do you know, la ilaha illallah? There is one person that one day I say that we're not the same. He said like, we're the same. I said, we're not the same. I said like, why? Because we say la ilaha illallah, you don't say la ilaha illallah. He said, what do you mean? I said, we say there is only one God, has no partner, no son, no children, nothing, but he's the only one. But you say Jesus is the Son of God. You know, he changed in front of me. You know what he said? No, we believe Allah is one, God is one. Because there are some people who are with him, and and then he wants to attract our youth. It was here, I think. I don't know if Uthman can remember. He was friend of the guy who was coming here that we went to Summit. That's his friend, David. His name was David. And he said like, yeah, Allah. And I said, Allah is one. He said like, yeah, Allah is one. That's true. And then everybody, youth said like, oh, great, he's great. That's what he wanted. Yes, but in Islam, so I agree, brother, to translate, make it simple, to make them understand, and then that is big da'wah. So anything else?
Yeah, well, one more last question.
Then Ma'alin Uthman
And when you
and Ma'alin
when you went to
Abdul Wahab.
doing the Quran only in Quran, there are people that they're other women, mom and mothers that do not don't know how to read the Quran, but
Yes.
they like listen to.
Yes, very good question. Very-
There's people that not
No.
can read, but they can go through the Quran while they're listening. Every
Yes.
surah,
Yeah, very good point. There are people, remember I said like there are people who cannot read the Quran but know because of the language issues, they can speak good English and they can have translation of the Quran to read it. So there are many alternatives, and one of the alternatives is you cannot read. Can you listen? Yes, you can open, but you have to. They said the scholars you should listen one juz every night. So the person has to listen one juz. Then, as you just talking, person will have to read with the translation, listen with the translation. So, for example, while he's listening or she is listening, then the translation is in front of the person. So, and that's what you meant, right? That's very helpful because one of the goal not only to finish and complete the Quran, one of the goal is to understand what the Quran says. So, and that's what we miss most of the time. That's why I and Ma'ana Uthman, hopefully he will help also. We will have khatira every night. Khatira is like short talk. So the people, that short talk I would divide like in two, very short, like about 7 minutes, is like before we start Tarawih, during like a break of the Tarawih, and then before people leave. So that's 7 minutes. If we can reflect at least one ayah of the Quran, which is very important, that is part of what was intended the month of Ramadan. When Allah says it's guide, so guide shows you many things, right? So that's why we need to go to that. Ma'al Uthman?
I was just going to say that the way that Adhan is practiced inside the masajid it's not according to the Sunnah to do it by the minbar. The Sunnah is to do it outside so people can hear it. So
Yes.
it doesn't have to be outside, but the voice needs to be reaching outside too.
Yes.
Because it's not to call the people in the masjid to pray. They're already here to pray.
Yes, to call outside to remind them and call them to come. Now it's time for the salah, please come. Yes. And they made, by the way, I heard about, I don't know, you should, someone should help me. There is a counting sound system, 80 something. No, the sound, the level of the sound. This decibel, right?
Yeah.
So they said 80, I think, right?
Because 60 is supposed to be like conversation level, 80 is like the vacuum.
So they said like it has to be 80. But that 80, it's not the one that we have in Somalia. You should know that. Okay? You know that, right? 80 reached like, for example, our street, right? And then Maccabin, but not Marion. So
I was just going to say that.
So that's what they allow right now, which is okay. So in da'wah matter, we know it is tajriji, right? So people will understand what it means is like we respect them and we need them to respect us. So
I think it would do better for the time being to at least have somebody at the door of the masjid and to make the adhan at the door.
okay.
Would be more closer, and I think it would benefit.
Instead of your suggestion, instead of connecting the mic, that's what you are suggesting.
For now, like the time being, it could be with the mic, but as long as, because I know there's city ordinances and laws about noise and stuff, but just if you do it at the door, I think it would serve the purpose of the adhan more. And to
Okay.
decide the masjid.
But the other question will be, are the people surround here, those who are surrounding here, are they Muslims? That's number one. Although reaching our voice to them is da'wah, but you're not calling them because you're not calling them to come to the salah because they're not Muslims. And number two, since the purpose of adhan was to remind and call the people to the salah time, and surrounding areas. So one of the sheikhs said, my masjid has only one neighbor Muslim. So how the adhan helps them. So do you see what I mean? But the original of the hadith, like al-amsar, al-qura, means like amsar al-muslimin. So majority are Muslims. Yes. Okay, Ma'alin Abdul Wahab.
Yes, I want to ask a question. Okay, so the best time to pray Qiyam al-Layl is the last third of the night. So that's what Allah, that's when Allah comes so closest to us. But for Tarawih time, would it be better to pray all the rakat except for the witr? You go home
To delay.
Yeah, to delay the witr and go home and pray, or else stay and pray with the Imam until the finish.
Very good question. What is the best? So, okay, this is what for jama'ah purpose, it's good to pray with a jama'ah, for jama'ah. But some scholars, what they do is they say like, witr you are done already, so you cannot do another witr, right? They say like, once you do the witr, make that witr even number. How can you do that? Even, yes. So let's say like you pray with a jama'ah, the witr, right? So because of the dua, because of the jama'ah and all this, and then after you're done, you pray another witr. That makes the witr that you did. So some imams they are saying like make even, so you can delay your own witr, the special time of the Qiyamul Layl.
Yeah, pray the shafa with witr. We're praying the two and then delaying the one, and so you can.
But what he's asking is not. He's saying, can you pray? He said like, how can you balance? You want to pray also the witr, the best time, which is the Qiyamul Layl time, the tahajjud time, before the fajr. But at the same time, you want to pray the witr. At the same time, you want to pray with the jama'ah. So which one is the best? So if the best is to delay, okay, to make it short. But if you want to get the barakah of the jama'ah and you pray the witr, some shuyukhs what they do is they make that witr even. Means like after they are done with the jama'ah, they pray alone to make it even number. Then they pray witr at home, the Qiyam Layl time. Okay.
So they finish the witr, but you keep continuing instead of saying salam.
And that's, yes, and that's another option. You can do that. You continue because you wanted to be part of the jama'ah. That was your purpose. Okay, we'll pray Isha before we eat. Any other question? So we're not. They made me scary. That's that. Is that disliked or it's haram? To make someone scary. So.
But the context is that they're trying to get.
Because nowadays we cannot trust anybody. I thought that they were jumping on the Imam to. Astaghfirullah. Okay. Okay, may Allah bless you, brothers. We'll make dua, inshallah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, thana'ulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala ashraf al-Hussein, Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam ajma'in. Allahumma aghfir lana dhunubana. Let's make the dua. The Sahaba used to say this dua. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab. Wa Sha'ban. Wa ballighna shahra Ramadan. That's the dua that they used to say, which means, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make barakah and blessing month, the month of Rajab, and make blessing month, the month of Sha'ban, and oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bring us to the month of Ramadan, or bring Ramadan to us. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. May Allah forgive us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring all our youth and every Muslim together in the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to perform the best practice of salah with khushu', and also may Allah help us to perform the da'wah work to reach all this humanity surrounding us, which is the best opportunity that we have, and Allah will ask us in the day of judgment. You have this opportunity. 99% were not Muslims, one only was Muslim. Why did not reach others? As Brother Yusuf from London said, that I will complain all the Muslims in London in front of Allah in the day of judgment. Because of them, my two parents died in status of what? Kufr. He said like, this is a beautiful message. If they would have reached us or reached my parents would have become Muslims. That's what he was saying. So what I mean is da'wah is wajib. May Allah guide us and make us understand that da'wah is wajib, and help us and give us all the tools of the da'wah to make it successful. And da'wah requires hikmah. May Allah give us hikmah, wisdom to conduct the da'wah work. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wa usalli wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam ajma'in.